On a quiet stretch of rural road, deep in the heart of Villisca, something unthinkable happened. An axe, a murder, a mystery that haunted the town for decades. This isn't just another ghost story. It's real. And tonight we're diving headfirst into a chilling case of the Villisca Axe Murder. I'm Rachel.
I'm Matt.
Welcome to Murder We Smoke. And this is where we dive into the darkness.
Bruh.
All right, Matt. So before I continue, what do you know about this case?
You know what? I've heard the name, but I don't recall anything about it. What era was it?
It was around the 1900s. So it was
Whoa.
very early 1912. Would be where it was.
1912?
Yeah. So
Whoa.
we're going way back. There's no videos in this
We're in the
one.
Wayback
There was no
Machine over
videos.
here right now.
Yeah. So we're going to start in the small town of Villisca. It was a very quiet town, like a stretch of road. It really wasn't a huge town.
No DNA evidence, that's
No.
for sure.
So
no
this was
DNA
in
sampling.
No, there was cross-contamination of evidence. They didn't.
Nobody understood protocol at that time. They're like,
No.
well, look at this.
No, it was very much come look at what happened to your neighbor's house, and you just walked in. All right, so Villisca was a small town, a very quiet town. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other. People didn't lock their doors. Life felt very safe.
Or was it nearby the Lizzie Borden Hill?
No.
All right, because I feel like the people that we watch not Ghost Adventures, correction. Maybe they may have gone there.
These are very famous stops. The owners of these houses are very open. You can actually go on their website and sign up to stay at the house. It's actually nobody lives there.
Isn't that the one where the person stay in the attic? I'm probably.
Oh, we're getting ahead of
Okay, so I
ourselves.
kind of know. I'm
right.
even though I'm given a ton of incorrect
You know,
information
I thought
initially,
I
I'm
knew.
whittling my way to the correct information.
I thought I knew all of it, and then I actually did deep dive, and there's a lot of stuff that was not really mentioned, or suspects that weren't really mentioned.
Because now I know where we're at. I know.
Yeah.
I know a little bit of the story.
This one's a little more well-known, kind of. All right, so we'll start at the beginning. Villisca was a small, quiet town in 1912. It was the kind of place where everybody knew each other. People didn't lock their doors. Life felt really safe. The Moore family lived in a white house. Okay, so this was the Moore family. They lived in a white house on 508 East 2nd Street. Joshua Moore, he was 43. His wife Sarah was 39, and their 4 kids: Herman, who was 11, Mary Catherine, who was 10, Arthur Boyd, who was 7, and Paul Moore, who was 5. In these pictures, they look really young, and even the pictures I'm going to continue to show, because they didn't have photography like that. But so you had to be super rich to get accurate photos. So this is photos, and there's more photos of them as we go along. They were well liked. Joshua sold farm equipment. Sarah was involved in the church, and they had a good reputation in town. On Sunday, June 9th, 1912, the Moore family went to church for a special event. 2 young girls, Lena and Ina Stillinger, who Lena was 8 and Ina was 11, they were friends with Catherine. So they were friends with the daughter, Catherine, and this will show you with the names of everybody here, counting Ina and Lena Stillinger. So they were neighboring kids that wanted to have a sleepover with the other kids. So that evening, they all visited and attended the Presbyterian church, where they participated in a Children's Day program, which Sarah, the mom, coordinated. After the program ended at 9:30 p.m., the Moores and the Stillinger sisters walked to the Moores' house, arriving between 9:45 and 10 p.m. So this is them. All right. So on the morning of June 10th at 7 a.m., the neighbor, Mary Peckingham, noticed something strange. You would think a family with 4 kids, you would hear something, because they had a farm. So you would think they would be out doing chores or something along those lines. She just becomes concerned because she notices the family aren't doing what they normally should be doing. Their morning chores or the routines that she saw them
Tending to livestock. They're doing anything.
anything outside, honestly. So the neighbor lets the chickens out and then calls Ross Moore, which is Josiah's brother. So like the neighbor, the brother receives no response when he knocks on the door, and he shouts and tries to, checks all around and tries to get their attention. So he had a spare key to the door. He unlocks the door. He has a copy. He unlocks the door, and while the neighbor stood on the porch, Ross, which is the brother, went into the parlor and opened the guest bedroom door, where he found Ina and Lena Stillinger's bodies on the bed. They searched the house, and they revealed that the Moore family and the 2 Stillinger girls were bludgeoned to death. The murder weapon, an axe belonging to Josiah, was found in the guest room where the Stillinger girls were found. All the mirrors were covered, and a slab of bacon was found on the floor, and a plate of uneaten food was left out, and that didn't make any sense to the investigators. So there was the weapon, which belonged to Josiah. There was a slab of bacon, which was thick. Back then, it was like you got bacon in like a pack, and then you cut the bacon.
Yeah,
so it was just a big slab.
Yeah.
And there was an uneaten plate of food.
Same thing with bread.
There was an uneaten plate of food made. Like nothing was eaten. And all of the mirrors were covered in anything. Like they just eat no mirrors.
It's guilt.
So the details of the crime scene were chilling. Josiah and Sarah were found in their beds. The children were found in their room. And Lena and Ina were found in the guest room. Lena was the only one who showed signs of being awake. She had bruises and was found in a strange position, which led some to believe she woke up when the attacks were happening. Not just hers, because they didn't start in that room. So the doctor concluded that the murder had taken place between midnight and 5 a.m., which is a very long span of time. So they know that the killers began in the master bedroom, where Josiah and Sarah Moore were sleeping. Josiah received more blows from the axe than any other victim. His face was cut to such an extent that pretty much his eyes were destroyed. The ceiling of his room had gouges from where the person lifted up and hit him. So, fun fact, those gouges are still in the wall to this day.
Nice.
So if you go and visit, you can see the gouges where he lifted back up and hit the ceiling.
Which is crazy.
So the difference between Josiah, the way he was killed, he was struck the most, and he also was struck with sharp end of the axe. The killers used the blade of the axe on Sarah, while they used the blunt end of the axe on all the children. So it almost makes me believe that there was a target here, because the dad got hit the most, but whether it could have just been that he was taking out the most capable person of defending themselves. So the blunt end for the rest of the victims: Herman, Mary, Catherine, Arthur, and Paul were next bludgeoned in the head in the same manner as their parents. Afterwards, the murderer returned to the master bedroom to inflict more blows on the dad and the mom. Again, knocking over a shoe filled with blood from the previous attack, before moving downstairs to the guest bedroom and killing Ina and Lena. Seemingly afterwards, a 4-pound slab of bacon was taken out of the icebox and laid next to the axe. Investigators also found untouched food, and here's another little tidbit that I didn't know about. They found a bloody water on the kitchen table, like in a cup. Like he stuck his finger and made the water bloody. And there was no signs of forced entry into the house. The doors were locked from the inside. Hold on a minute. Yeah, the doors were locked from the inside. The windows were covered, and even the victims' faces were covered in a cloth. Whoever did this didn't want to be seen, not even by the dead. So he made a very big point to cover every single mirror in the house and every single person's face, because he didn't want to see what he did, or he didn't want to see himself, or he didn't want anybody to see him. So the investigation begins from here. So that was the crime scene. News spread fast. The crime scene was not protected, People came and went. Evidence was likely destroyed.
Yeah,
so everybody
and their
mom.
mother is just coming into this house and being like, "Oh my god!"
The cops, from what I read, didn't arrive until like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh my
this
God.
happened at they were
had
discovered
their
at 7 in the
coffee
morning.
and their lunch.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, I guess we'll go take a look."
These people were discovered at like 7 in the morning. 2-5, and everybody and their mom knew about it. They were coming in and out. So evidence was likely destroyed. A local druggist, whose hobby was photography, showed up to take photos,
Oh my god!
but was dismissed and told taking photos was too ghoulish. He may even have had a motive to sell the photos.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Many drugstores sold postcards of the crime scene at the time. So after that, many drugstores sold photos of these people dead.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, so investigators found an imprint on the hay in the barn next to the knothole where they believe the killer observed the family for some time. 2 spent cigarettes were found in the attic, suggesting that the murder could have entered
just a little data
through,
in the attic.
But that was a rumor. They're not exactly sure if that's actually true, that he sat in that attic. But they do believe how somebody would have gotten in the house without knowing, without needing a key, because nobody locked the doors, but all the doors were locked from the inside. Like they were locked. Like if somebody had a key, which is suspicious, but we'll get there. So they observed the family for some time. 2 spent cigarettes were found in the attic, suggesting the murderer could have entered the window via a window or unlocked back door and hid until the family returned from church. Police questioned many people, but they had no clear suspects. They did find a few clues. An axe that belonged to Josiah. A key to the house was missing. A lamp was found with the chimney removed. So the chimney on a lamp, how do I explain this? A chimney on a lamp is like...
Yeah, like the covering of the chimney.
To make it dimmer. It makes the light dimmer on a lamp. Yeah, so it's almost like a lamp shade, like the thing you put over a lamp to make it a little dimmer. So that was removed, possibly used to dim the light by the killer. So he took it off after he was done, but nothing points to one person. All right, so I'm going to show you a few photos now. So this is actually the house, what it looks like now and how they advertise it now, and how it looks like back in that time. It was just a simple house. It does look more put together now than it did then, but it is what it is at that time. So the house, the first little box is the bottom floor and then the top floor. So you can see when they're talking about they came into the house, it was through the front porch into the kitchen. You would think they would have to go through the front porch to the kitchen, go up the stairs. If they wanted to get to the attic, they would just go directly to the attic. So you got to think about where they started. Why the master bedroom? Because they were upstairs. You know what I'm talking about? Why? And then the children's bedroom. And then, I don't see where they said the sewing room, I guess, was a spare room or something like that. Just trying to think. But I could imagine that one of those girls heard something.
Possibly, and that's why that one
one
got
of the
up.
girl was up because how do you murder 5?
I can't imagine that being too quiet, especially if it's swinging up and smashing on the ceiling.
Yeah, that might wake you up a little bit,
Okie dokie.
All right, so here's an example of how that person would have swung up. This is the room. This is the actual room. That's where they would have been laying. They just showed an example of how that would have happened. You can click next. All right, so now we get to the suspects. The list is quite long for a suspect list.
Wow, that's crazy.
All right, so the first person we have here is Frank Jones. Was a Villisca resident and a senator, actually.
Whoa.
Josiah Moore had worked for Frank Jones at his implement store for many years before leaving to open his own store. Moore reportedly, which is the dad, took business away from the Jones, including a very successful John Deere, who you know the name of. Yes, yeah.
Dang.
So Moore was rumored to have had a sexual affair with Jones' daughter-in-law, though no evidence supports this. After 2 separate trials, he was acquitted. The next person that we have a suspect is a known killer who killed his family with an axe. Some thought he was a serial killer. So 9 months before the murders in Villisca, a similar case of axe murder occurred in Colorado Springs, Colorado. 2 axe murder cases also followed that in Kansas and in Ellsworth, Kansas, and Pelawa. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Pelawa, Kansas. Two cases were similar enough to raise the possibility of having been committed by the same person. Other murders reported as possibly being linked to these crimes, including a numerous unsolved axe murders along with Southern Pacific Railroad. It was alongside the Southern Pacific Railroad from 1911 to 1912. And also they looped the Axemen of New Orleans in this. Oh my God. In this killings, in this like possibility. It was around this time.
Is that why he left the bacon by the axe? So they would think it's the bacon and not him?
There is another suspect that is probably could be, but they don't really know. It's like, we'll get to it. So the next suspect is the biggest suspect.
I think that's the one that I might know.
You know this one. This one is the one they actually really think did it.
The iconic one.
Yes. Reverend George Kelly.
Yep.
Kelly was an English-born traveling minister in town. Kelly was described as peculiar, reportedly having suffered a mental breakdown in adolescence. As an adult, he was accused of peeping and several times asking young women and girls to pose nude for him.
Oh boy.
On June 8th, 1912, he came to Villisca to teach the Children's Day service, which the Moores attended on June 9th, 1912. He left town between 5 a.m. and 5:50 a.m. on June 10th, hours before the bodies were discovered. Reverend Kelly had confessed to the murders in court, but the jury did not believe his confession.
Wasn't it like a thing where he was like a little like psychotic, like schizophrenic?
He was a little crazy.
Possibly.
He was a little crazy. I mean, crazy being like he had a mental illness for sure. He also was known to gloat about that he did it. Whether he did it or not, I don't know. He did.
I don't know about gloating about it though.
He did tell people on the train that he did kill people. It's very possible that this man did it. He traveled, so this also puts like a dead ringer. I just don't know what his motive would be to do. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I don't know. It's still very unsolved. So here's another one. So a stranger. They said there is a theory that there was some serial killer that wasn't caught that jumped from train to train, because Villisca did have a train that went through it, and would stay in places like the barn and live there for a while. And they come out and murder people, because along the train was where all those people were being killed around the same time people. So people said that they think they could have been a killer, a stranger. It was a drifter who hopped from train to train and killed and left towns. To this day, no one knows for sure what actually happened. It is still unsolved. It probably will still be unsolved. Many people have visited. It's now a museum where you can go in and look. People go ghost hunting there. Always be respectful. I'm going to say this while you're doing it.
Pretty active from what we've seen.
I have seen it is very active.
Destination, well, now Project Fear.
Yes.
They've spent a couple of nights in that house.
It is. I think it's the way that, unfortunately, so many people passed, and they weren't old, you know. That took me off guard. When you think of adults,
6 kids and 2 adults, and they weren't that old adults.
No, when you think of adults, you're like, I'm not an adult. And then you look at the youngest girl was like 39, and I'm like, wow. You're like, and had 4 kids, and you know.
And people started young in those times. It's like 18, you're married, or like 20s.
Yeah.
After that, it's like you're over the hump.
I feel bad for the 2 girls who were just staying over for the night.
What the heck?
Could you imagine how their parents feel?
Oh my God.
That they just let their kids stay over for the night, and because they did that, Like it was just the one night that they stay over. I think that's
Crazy.
horrible. And I do want to say, I didn't include it in here, but the girl who was found, like, they probably think she was awake. They're not sure if she was SA'd, but they do make some reference that she was positioned in a weird way. So I do want to say that also. So to wrap this up, I have a little thingy. Many believe the killers hid in the attic, waiting for everyone to go to sleep, and then struck. Some say it was personal. Others believe it was a work of a madman. The house is still standing today. Some say it's haunted. Ghost hunters visit it often. It has been on many paranormal shows. But beyond the ghost stories is a real tragedy. 8 people lost their lives, and justice was never served. The scars left behind by the Villisca Axe Murder are still visible and etched into the town's memory, and maybe into ours. If you find this story as haunting as I did, hit the like to support the deep dives, and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because trust me, this rabbit hole only goes deeper.
Dang.
Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.
Lock your doors.
Lock
Check
your
your
doors.
house before you go to sleep.
Yeah, check your attic. There's
Please.
someone in there. Check your
Oh,
attic.
hopefully not. If there is, always check with a bat.
Yeah. I mean, just be safe. Lock your doors. It wasn't back then. It wasn't a
Even
norm.
then, obviously, it's time
Just
to
be
lock your
safe.
doors.
Just be safe. Stranger danger. Just be safe, everyone. Okay.
People are wild out there. Don't
Yeah.
trust anybody.
Okay, man. Don't open your doors. Don't go
leave
anywhere.
your house.
Don't leave your house. Don't pick up your
Uber
phone.
eats all the time.
all the time. You can order your groceries to your door.
Please.
All right, guys. This has been Murder We Spoke.
Stay safe.